Good afternoon. My name is Maya Luria with TMC for Seniors, and I am so excited to get a jump start on our June programming. Today we are talking all about balance, and I have Tom Pylman here from PCOA. He actually is a facilitator for the Matter of Balance program. So I want to welcome you here, Tom.
Hi.
So you could be watching us today from either our YouTube channel or our Facebook page. Please feel free to leave any comments for us or questions in the comment area. And as soon as Tom finishes with his presentation, we'll go ahead and jump into those questions. So Tom, I'm going to let you go ahead and take over here.
Hi there. I'm Tom Pillman, and I work for the Pima Council on Aging. I do fall prevention and the program called A Matter of Balance. You can kind of see my information there on the screen. We started doing fall prevention a good 10 years ago with this program. A Matter of Balance is a nationwide, nationally recognized program. It is recognized as the standard of care for cognitive fall prevention, which is changing how you think about falling. That's a lot of what our class does, and I'm here to talk to you about it. If you have questions, please let us know. Like I say, I've been doing this for quite a long time. Many people don't realize how serious the problem of falls is among older Americans. 1 in 4 older Americans this year will have a significant fall. That is the fall that produces an injury or sometimes even a fatality. When those statistics came to light, they decided to do something about it, and they came up with A Matter of Balance. Our class from the Pima Council on Aging, I'm assuming everybody here knows who the Pima Council on Aging is. We are the area aging agency for Pima County. If you have an issue that has to do with aging, please let us know. We deal with it. You can give us a call. Our website is pcoa.org. So there's that. So like I said, 1 in 4 seniors will have a serious fall. In fact, falls are the leading cause of injury-related death among senior citizens in the United States. Something like $86 billion a year in economic damage is caused by falls. Now, what is it we can do about falling? Some people are convinced that they are going to fall simply because they've gotten older. Yet statistics don't bear that out. Older folks really don't fall statistically much more than younger folks, but we attract a lot of attention. If you got a white beard and some gray hair and you fall down, you attract a crowd. Also, we tend to have medical conditions that falls exacerbate. They have found that of people who fall and break their hip, 50% are dead within a year. 10% are dead within a month. Those are scary statistics. I'm willing to bet that everybody out there knows someone who has fallen if you haven't taken a fall yourself. So what can we do to prevent it? Well, in half an hour, that's kind of hard to give you a real comprehensive overview, but I'm going to talk about some of the things we talk about in our class and show you that. Let me first start by giving you one really great fall prevention tip. That is, when you get up slowly. When you get up, when you walk around, when you're turning, when you're changing position, find a vertical target, something like the corner of the room behind me here, or a door frame, a window frame, a signpost, a fence post, anything that is straight up and down, and keep your eyes on it. Refer to it all the time. Now, you don't want to just stare at it because that'll lead you to fall, but you want to keep your eyes moving and keep referring to that vertical target. You'll be amazed at how much easier that makes your walking around be. I had a fellow that came to one of my classes. He walked very badly. If you know what neuropathy is, it's an interruption or the loss of neural sensation to your limbs. And he had terrible neuropathy in his left leg. He hadn't felt his left leg in 5 years. And he said to me, he walked very badly. His head was down. He hung on his poor wife. He had a cane. He shuffled. And he said to me, what can I do? This is ruining my life. To which point I said, find a vertical target. Find that corner of the wall. Find that door frame. And he said, no, that's too easy. That's too simple. It's got to be more to it than that. And I said, no, just give me 2 weeks. Do that. See what happens. He came back to me a week later and was visibly walking better. And I said, so how you doing? And his response was, that vertical target thing, it's like magic. You will be surprised at how much that helps your balance. Even if you don't have bad balance now, having that as a tool in your repertoire is a really good idea. Okay, so that's my first tool. Many people out there talk about what is the base cause of falls. Why do we fall so often? Is it because we're older? No, that's really not it. Some people say, well, I don't pay very much attention when I'm walking. That's a big one. Paying attention, being in the moment that you're in. But really, what the biggest cause of falls is not steps. It's not picking your feet up. It's fear. And if you could bring up the fall cycle slide, we'll talk about how that works. This is called the fall cycle. And it is the basis, sort of the mental model that we work off of in a matter of balance. And it starts, like I say, by becoming concerned. Perhaps you know somebody who's fallen. Perhaps you've taken a fall. Maybe hurt yourself a little bit. You become concerned about falls. This can be very sudden. I knew a woman who was in great shape, went out to pick up her paper, fell off the porch, won't leave the house. Maybe it's something like that, dramatic like that. Maybe it's more subtle. You just sort of notice you're not seeing your friends as much. Or you used to go shopping every week and now you don't. You don't go to church as much. And when you think about it, you realize it's because you're concerned that you're going to fall down. What this does is it causes us to limit our activities. If you follow that cycle around there, you limit your activities. What I mean by that is that you aren't doing as much. You aren't getting up out of the chair to do things. You aren't seeing your friends. You aren't going out the way you used to go out. Maybe you stopped gardening or something like that. We limit our activities because we think it will keep us safe. But the fact is, limiting our activities is exactly what's going to cause us to fall. And that's created by fear, by concern. This limiting your activities causes you to get into worse shape. By worse shape, I mean all sorts of shape. Physical shape, you're not moving as much, you're not using your ankles, you're not getting up, your legs have become weaker, maybe your knees hurt more, maybe you have more pain in your joints. This is all because you're not doing things. But it's not just physical shape, okay? We get mentally dull. We get into worse mental shape because all we're doing is watching the TV. We're not seeing friends. We haven't gone out to the local coffee clutch, or if we used to go out and do things, play bingo, whatever it is, We're not doing them. We're not getting the mental stimulation. Few people realize it, but a good crossword puzzle is a fall prevention exercise. So is doing a Sudoku, a really engaging book. All of these things keep those mental wheels turning. And so it keeps us in better mental shape. It makes us more aware of what's around us. As we sit, as we become sedentary, we lose that situational awareness. And so it becomes easier for us to fall. We also become more isolated. And this has certainly been true since the advent of the COVID pandemic. Social isolation has become a major problem. As we become isolated, we do less and less. We see less and less. We do less things. This almost inevitably leads us to become depressed. Depression is a serious problem among older adults. And isolation, being in bad shape, feeling poorly, these all deepen depression, and then depression comes back and makes us not want to try. It makes you want to give up. And so it makes the situation worse. All of this worsens our balance, and as our balance gets worse, we become more concerned. So we limit our activities more, our shape gets worse, our physical condition gets worse, our isolation becomes more severe, our depression becomes deeper. And this just keeps spiraling. It's a lot like water going down a drain. Eventually, a fall becomes inevitable. So maybe you tripped because you caught your foot on the curb. But how come you didn't see the curb? Why was it you weren't able to lift your foot high enough? All of these things. And all of this comes back to the fear of falling. We become afraid. We end up on this cycle. So how do we get off of this cycle? What do? The first thing we do is we stay active. We keep moving around. Maybe you can't get out, to go shopping the way you used to because of COVID. That doesn't mean you can't move around your house. That doesn't mean you can't take a walk around the neighborhood. We stay active. Keep doing the things that you can do. And let me tell you that everything counts. Everything. If you can take 5 extra steps on your way to the store, you're keeping yourself a little safer. If you take 2 trips to the car instead of trying to take everything at once, you're going to keep yourself a little safer. Now, physical activity is excellent, and it really is. It's the number one way to prevent a fall. It's the number one way to prevent a heart attack. It's the number one way to recover from a stroke. It's the number one way to deal with your diabetes. So stay active, stay mentally active. Do that crossword puzzle. Have your friends come over, and you can gossip about all your friends that didn't come over. All of that will keep you safer from falls because it keeps you mentally engaged, and it gives you the kind of emotional and intellectual support that you need to keep going. And it really helps to defeat depression. One of the best ways to get over depression, to get past it, is to be physically active. So that's one way. The other way is to take your time. I have heard so many fall stories, and I'm always up for a new fall story, but I've heard so many, and I can tell you that 95% of the cases all involve somebody not taking their time. Let me tell you a story about it. I had a lady that came and took my class, did real well. She was boxing some stuff up. She said, well, I need a new box. So she tried to jump over this one, fell, managed to hurt her arm, and she looked at me and said, Tom, if I just took my time and stepped around that box instead of trying to jump over it, things would be better. So that's a real important part of this, is take your time. You don't need to be the first person to the top of the steps. And you sure don't want to be the first person to the bottom of the steps, because that just slows you down more. Take the time to plan ahead. Think about where you're going to go. Oh, I want to go with my family to the Desert Museum. So I'm going to plan ahead. I'm going to say, well, I know I have to walk a bunch and it's not always paved, so I'm going to wear good shoes. I'm going to take my cane. One of the most important things I'm going to do is I'm going to call the Desert Museum in advance. And I'm going to say, hey, I've got some mobility challenges. What can I do to enjoy your facility? And they're going to have all sorts of suggestions for you. It's amazing what people will go through to get you to come to their place. So call ahead. Arrive early. Get someplace early. You can find your own seat. You know what the area looks like. You don't have to fight the crowd. Leave late. Sit there for a little while. I'm one of those people that at the movies sit and watch the credits go by. I don't know what the best boy does, but I know his name. What does that do for me? I don't have to fight the crowd on the way out. When I get to the parking lot, I don't have to take, part in the fender benders going on out in the parking lot. So take your time. Take your time to plan. Take your time. Move slowly. If you're moving slowly and there are people behind you, step off to the side and let them go by. The other really important thing to do is to use your assistive device. If you have a cane, use the cane. I talk to so many people that say, well, if I use my walker or I use my cane, I look weak. I look so old. Okay, folks, looking old, the gray hair and wrinkles, dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. They already know that you've gotten older. Use the cane. A cane is a sign, an assistive device of any sort is a sign of intelligence. You're using a tool to do what you want to do. So that's important about that. So what do we do about all this stuff in A Matter of Balance? Well, A Matter of Balance is a discussion class. We go around and we talk about each other. Right there is how you go about registering for A Matter of Balance. We talk to one another about how we deal with falls. And we give you information about how to keep yourself safe, how to make your house safe, how to keep your environment safe, all sorts of things you can do. How to discuss your fall concerns with your doctor. Many people are afraid of talking to their doctor or their family because, they'll put me in a home. No, they won't. But they can't help you with what you don't know about. So that is how the class works, is that we cognitively change the way that we think of things. We work on better habits. We work on changes to our environment, what we can do. You want to keep yourself safer in your house? Get rid of your throw rugs. Throw them away. That's why we call them throw rugs, because otherwise they'll throw you to the ground. So that is A Matter of Balance. Our next virtual Matter of Balance, which will be given over Zoom, starts on September 12th. It's given Mondays and Wednesdays. I'm sorry, did I just say September 12th? July 12th. I get on these virtual things and I get all nervous. July 12th, and it'll run twice a week through August 4th. Call the number there on your screen, 305-3410. Say hi to Jenny, and she will tell you how to register for our next class. When you register for the class, we will send you a workbook and some paperwork to fill out, and then we all get together and we discuss how not to fall down. If you think, well, maybe I already know that, believe me, we will talk to you about things that you haven't thought of before, or that maybe you have been through And this is another way to look at them. So if you're worried about your balance, contact a matter of balance. Let's see, what other fall prevention tip can I give you? Oh, I know one. A lot of people shuffle. They walk around with their head down. They're taking really small little steps. Well, they're doing that out of fear. What you need to do, we call it shuffling. And what you need to do is you need to keep your head up, your eyes moving around, looking to make sure you're not going to trip on something, but don't just look down. Find that vertical target I talked about. Take as full a step as possible. What happens when people shuffle is that the muscles in their legs, their hips, all start to atrophy. And then when it comes to having to take a bigger step not to trip or have to step up over that curb, you physically can't do it. You need to take as full a step as you can. You need to keep your ears over your shoulders and your shoulders over your hips. And then keep your head up and walk with a little bit of confidence. You've been walking your whole life. You'll be okay. Use your assistive device. We're coming up at about 5 minutes till, I think.
So, Tom, I had a couple of questions for you. I think
good.
you've answered one of them. One was about the most common reason for a fall in older adults, and it sounds to me like it was fear was really the biggest reason for it. Can you talk a little bit more about maybe some of the environmental factors? I know you just mentioned the throw rugs, but what else should people be aware of maybe in their homes that they're not thinking of that may cause somebody to fall?
Well, I can tell you that the three big ones are throw rugs, steps, especially if you have an interior staircase. But we all have steps going from my garage to my house. I've got 2 different steps I have to come up. Steps are a real problem. 1, you want to make sure you have handrails. And 2, make sure that the edges of the steps are well marked, that you can see the edges and navigate them. The other problem that people have is darkness. They don't want to turn a light on when they're going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, or they figure, I know where all my furniture is. I can make it through the living room without turning on a light. Let me tell you, your coffee table is hunting you. And the minute you think you can make it through without a light, it's sneaking up on you. So turn on a light. Get night lights. Night lights save lives. That's real important. So make sure that all the areas you walk through have well-lit areas. And then we also talk about things like cords across the floor, uneven walking, bad surfaces, gravel. I mean, there's a bunch of environmental hazards, but they all can be dealt with by turning on the light, getting rid of your throw rugs, and slowing down. Pay as much attention to walking as you would to driving or something like that, because someone may have moved the coffee table. Your dog or cat may have left their toy in the middle of the floor. But if you're going slow enough, that's not a big deal.
Well, and I was going to say, I also know that pets can oftentimes sort of get under your foot, and so just being aware of your surroundings, I think, as well, right? With if your pets are there as well.
Absolutely. I have a cat whose favorite game is Trip Tom.
Yes.
And so now the cat wears the bell. So Tom has a chance.
Well, there you go. So that's a great example of something somebody could do, and is to have a bell maybe around. Yes, my cat does like to lay at your feet, and you could be making dinner, and all of a sudden there's a cat under you. So I completely understand what you're saying there. Now, what about with exercise? Can you give us some more tips for better exercises that really help with maybe helping with your balance? Are there some specific ones that you recommend?
There's a couple, and one of them is real simple, and we all do it when we listen to music. We tap our feet to music. Okay? Moving your feet, moving your ankles, just tapping your feet will help with that. A lot of people, when they step, I'm trying to find where my camera is. Their toe drops. Tapping your feet strengthens the muscles in your legs. It helps you keep your toes up. That's a good one. Rotating your ankles. You're sitting there watching TV, a commercial comes on, pick up your foot, rotate your ankle around clockwise 5 times, do it counterclockwise 5 times. Keep your ankles in as good a shape as possible. Now, the idea is to do what you can. Understand you're not as flexible as you used to be. Maybe you have some problems with your ankle. Move it as far as you can move it. Those are some good exercise. And then any exercise that increases leg strength, thigh strength, those exercises, just walking in place in your chair. I'm sitting here marching in my chair. That's a great exercise to help with your legs and help with your balance. So there's those kind of exercises you can do. Another environmental thing you can do is get grab bars. Grab bars for your shower, grab bars for your bathroom. Grab bars save lives. The other thing I would encourage everybody to do is either carry your cell phone with you or get one of those medic alert devices. If you need help choosing a medic alert device, give PCOA a call. We can help you with that. We have a sheet of vendors here in town and what they cost and what their services are. So give us a call, but get yourself a medic alert device because you don't want to fall and then find yourself laying for hours at a time, hoping somebody comes by to pick you up. So the medic alert device, grab bars, get rid of throw rugs, put a bell on your cat. I can go on all day.
Right. Those are great tips. And I know even Apple Watch, I've got my Apple Watch on, has a way that you can set that so that if you fall or you have a real hard, bang, it alerts at that point too. And so there are definitely a lot of devices out there, just as you were saying, that people can use and certainly needed. Because we do want to keep everybody safe. Now, I know the next class that you have is going to be virtual, and that's the one that is happening. I'm just going to put this back up for a second. This is July 12th through August 4th. We didn't talk about cost, but there is a small cost for the class, correct?
Yes, it's $30 a person. It's a donation to us, and it just helps us cover the materials, is all it does. So there is that. I'm also excited to say that we're looking at starting a face-to-face class in September.
That's what I was hoping you were going to say next. So,
right.
Yes. So that'll be, so you'll be doing the plan, at least for now, is that you'll have then after this July class, that the next class will be an in-person class for anyone who may feel comfortable with that. Or may need that. You are doing the virtual classes through Zoom, correct? Yep. So, and the classes are the same. It just one is online and one is in person.
Basically.
So, yeah. So you can go ahead and certainly call Jenny over at 520-305-3410, and she can help to get you registered. If one of those classes doesn't work out, I'm sure she can let you know more about what's happening in the future. But she would be, if you call over there, that's how you would do any kind of enrollment for either your virtual class or the in-person class. So that is great, Tom. Thank you so much for sharing this all with us today. I really appreciate it. We are, as I said, we are in the month of June. Our next class is going to be on tinnitus. It will be on Monday, June 14th at 2 p.m. And we also have a Whip It Up Cooking Club next week as well on Tuesday, June 15th. So I hope you'll all join us for those classes. If you have any questions or would like to register, you can give us a call in the office. It's 324-1960. thank you again for being here, Tom. And I hope everybody remains balanced and
Don't
and
fall down.
yes, and right, no more falls, and everybody look up, right? So
Okay. Thank
so
you very
thank
much.
you all again.